Have to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Chiefs are actually the informed team. They lost one game now in the league. The game before that they lost was against Supersport, and they've been pretty much consistent throughout the season. Hence their position. The other hand is, do you really read into form when it comes to a derby like this? I don't think so. I think their coach is experienced enough to be calm this week. I think his plays will pick up. If there's any change in him this week, he's experienced enough, and I'm quite well. He'll be calm. He'll approach the game as a normal game, not leading too much into what is said outside. And I expect them full strength. I expect them firing. I expect them playing to their strengths, and it will be a really tough game. We have to be at our best to get the 3 points, and that is what it's about. We not for 1 second is going into the game underestimating Kaizer Chiefs because they lost in the cup now on penalties. No, no ways. We know they are the team that's on top of the log, and we are a team that's only picking up form now, late in the season. So yes, we'll approach the game as we're playing against a team that's top of the log, trying to get the 3 points, and that's it.
Thanks, Tsepo from ENCA. Coach, just quick ones. You just mentioned now that you just picked up form towards the end of the season. Is it the right time to pick the form, looking at the fact that after Chiefs lost to Maritzburg, it's sort of like a three-horse race for the league title? Second one, it does the fact that we don't know who's Chiefs' number one in terms of Akpay and Kune. Does it play to your mind in terms of your preparing for the game?
Oh, it's quite clear they have a number one, and that's Akpay. I don't think they will change. I said it before, form does not really matter when it comes to a derby. That is why we're not going into the game relaxing because we've won a couple of games in a row. That's not it. We approach the game as a new slate. It is a game, and we're not talking about title race at all. The title race is for Kaizer Chiefs, Sundowns, and Bidvest. We only, and as our new coach came in, only focusing game by game. And that's how we've approached all games so far. And that's how we approach this game. We know the importance of the game for the supporters, for the pride, for the badge. But it's still 3 points at stake. And we'll approach the game to try and get that 3 points. That's it.
Coach Chad from Kickoff. You joined about a year ago. You've been part of 3 competitive derbies now, 2 different head coaches. This will be your 3rd one. Just sort of lessons learned maybe in the past 3. You've yet to win a competitive Soweto derby apart from the Carling Black Label as part of the technical team. Just sort of lessons learned from previous derbies that you could take or perhaps share with Coach Josef Zinnbauer, who will be facing his first now. And then to Happy, I think it's going to be your 28th Soweto derby now. What is it about the Soweto derby that always gets people going? Even though you've played so many, do you still feel the same excitement as you did when you played your first one?
Yeah, Chet, I've played so many games, and I still feel this goosebumps each and every game when I play against Chiefs, and I think it still brings the spark, in South Africa because there's a lot of things that we need to play for. The family, the people who died, when they were watching the games. So it's a lot of emotions in terms of this game. But as a team, we've been doing great so far, and I think we're gonna do well in this game.
Yeah, the derby is a special day in South Africa. Not only South African football, it's where the country stops. And our coach is experienced enough, having played in big derbies before in his career, and there's no need to tell him the importance or what the derby is all about. He knows it. But of course, you get special players that come into the fore that perhaps have not been in contention even. They have the big match temperament. They have the just the feeling for coming onto the pitch, not taking care of the crowd, not being overwhelmed by the experience, and they just go out there and perform. And it's about finding those players that can win you the derby. I think history has shown who those players are, but like I said, you get out there and you experience it, you're on the pitch, and the tactical instruction stops. It's out there on the players now. They cannot hear you. They cannot even see you in the moment of the occasion. So we have to prepare the players exactly for what is about to happen, what could happen, and what changes they have to make by small signals. And that is what it's about. And that's how we'll approach the game. But like I said, the coach is experienced enough to be able to know exactly how to approach this game, how to handle a game of this magnitude. Yes.
Okay. Coach Velila from SABC. I don't know, maybe you've got something with you to attract Germans to work with you. Uh, you've worked with both coaches. How would you describe the two coaches coming from two different eras? And also, if you can expand on your close relationship, the bond that you also have with Coach Middendorp.
Yeah. I think in terms of football school, they both come out of the same German school, where a lot is focused on verticality, quick counter-attacks. And so the football thinking and the football approach is quite similar. Of course, Ernst has changed over the years since I had him as a player and then started to work with him. He's always kept up with the latest trends and always going into. So saying Ernst is the same when I met him to what he is right now. It's definitely not for me to say. Haven't worked with him now over a couple of years, and things he's done, things he's picked up, and things he's developed is completely different to when I worked with him. So. Yeah, personality-wise, I think it's completely different. They each one with a strong will, with a strong organization skill set, what Germans are born with. But both have the same willingness to win everything where it comes to a training session, and you put your the exercise to win in the exercise, to win in every little thing they do, whether we're playing a card game out of it, whatever they want to win. And I think that is where they're both similar in terms of always wanting to win. But you cannot compare the two. It's both good coaches, completely different, but where it comes to the football sense, like I said, they both have their pro license out of the same university in Germany, so that is quite similar. But of course, they're completely different in terms of personality, in terms of how they approach things, in terms of how they set up their training sessions, but both wanting the same outcome, of course, that is to win a football match. So that's not where you cannot compare them or set them apart. They both have that desire to win. The relationship where it comes to a match like this is we're enemies. Of course, he's done a lot for me throughout my career. He's taken me from one day to the next, one day in the players' change room, the next day in the coaches' change room, and I cannot thank him enough for what he's done for me. Of course, we in contact not on a regular basis, but always at the end of the season we'll sit down and discuss football, which is normal, to discuss the latest trends, to discuss football in depth. But once the season starts, there is no relationships. We're on different sides of the fence, and we keep that professional relationship to a distance, especially when the season's on.
Thank you, Joseph on Sports. Coach, just a quick one. You've worked with Sipesi Hlendlovu in Maritzburg. You've worked with Makaringa next to you.
Yeah, I think it's quite different for each of them, and it's like that for any new player. I've worked with Tsegofatso Mabaso, I worked with Kabadinho Mahango at Celtic as well, and it's different for each player coming to a big club. Some need more time. Some immediately come in and can perform to the level. But strictly in terms of fortune, and I've spoken to him before, he's not yet playing at his best. I know there's still more that he has to unlock that potential within him. And the same with Ndlovu. He's only now beginning to settle into the environment, beginning to play football what we know he can, but not near half his potential as well. So there's so much more to come out of these players, and not only speaking about Fortune and Ndlovu, new players that have come in, Kabelo Dlamini as well, the new players that have Kakabadinho Mahango, Tsegofatso Mabasa, and all the new players. They need time to get used to the environment, to know exactly what's at stake at a big club. That's the first point. And the next point is changing 3 coaches, different philosophies in one season. That also gives the player a bit more adaptation time, more time to really showcase their true potential. And we have not yet seen the potential of Kabadinho Mahango, Kabelo Dlamini, Tsegofatso Mabasa, Fortune Makaringa, and Ndlovu, our new players that have joined the beginning of the season. We have not yet. There is still so much to unlock within them, and it's our job as coaches to try and get them to that level where they're playing to their full potential.
Mina Dlhela from Newsroom Africa. Firstly, Coach, to pick up on Veli's question, if you can just describe of what each coach has contributed to your career and the way you see football and coaching, and where you would like to go. And to Happy, the last 2 derbies have certainly lived up to expectation. It seems Soweto Derby redeemed itself as the big game on the South African football. Is the pressure any different with the high anticipation for this derby, especially knowing that people are expecting goals? What we saw in Durban, what we saw in FNB, that's what they're going to be looking for.
Yeah, you said it that the Derby redeemed himself. Yeah, we're looking forward for this one. We're just looking for a true point as a team. You know, we're not looking for about anything else. And the most important thing, we don't have to play the occasion. You know, it's just to play the game. You know, we just have to be smart on the day, and I think it's very important for the team.
Yeah, as a coach, you're always learning and developing yourself, and you know, I've tried to do that throughout my career. Is learn from each and every coach I've worked with over the time, and there are many, and not only those I've worked with closely, but those I've played under as well. And of course, each coach will have an effect on your thinking, on your football idea. But of course, that's only the starting point. The next step is for you to go out and do your research and really find your own identity, what works, what does not work, what will work in terms of the South African player, how to get the best out of the culture we have over here. And I can talk about Ernst Middendorp for days. I can talk about Zinnbauer for days, but I don't think right now I should do that. But both of them have had an impact on me. Of course, Joe only now for a few months, but already the working relationship is really good, and we hope we can continue.
Coach Mazola Molefe from Soccer Laduma. Coach, you mentioned obviously changing coaches 3 times in one season. You know, with the PSL so unpredictable, normally it's a season that you would almost write off if you've changed coaches so many times. And Coach Joe comes in, I think the team is 11th place. Where do you think the turning point was? I mean, it's obviously the same group of players, but 3 different coaches. But now there's been a run of form that hadn't been there throughout the season.
Yeah, I don't think you can really point it down to one thing. Of course, the coach, Joe Zinnbauer, has to get a lot of credit for that. Yes, for the turnaround, for what he's done so far and the results we've been getting. But of course, everything plays a part. I think you can't discredit Coach Michu when he was here, Coach Rulani when he was here. And then ultimately, I think the players came to a point when they said enough is enough, and really took to the new coach and decided, look, it's time. that we start getting results. So it's a collective. It's from what happened in the past 2 years, from what happened now, from the experiences we went through, a very rocky start in the beginning. The coach, yes, deserves most of the credit for coming in, stabilizing, putting a clear structure in, trying to get the best players on the pitch and putting a clear structure. He has so many ideas that he wants to implement, but knowing it's not the right time right now, perhaps at a later stage, more tactical ideas. But for him, using his experience to be able to see exactly what is necessary at this moment in time, what is necessary for the players to get consistency, to get that team cohesion, I think he deserves the credit, but not taking out all the factors that has happened that is contributing to our success right now.